I want to invite someone who is a key important part of why we're having the conference here today. He is a founding partner at 1337 Ventures, Malaysia's first accelerator program. I'm pretty sure that spells LEAD. Yes. I'm pretty sure. And he has also monitored, developed, and invested in 40 over tech startups. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for CEO and founder of iTrain, Mike.
Morning, everyone. Okay, you can loosen up. If you want to drop the suit, you want to drop your coat, go ahead. It's a bit warm in here. So my name is Bikesh. Those who know me as Mike, and those who don't know me will know me as Bikesh first before you know me as Mike. I'm here to talk to you about the Fintech Bootcamp. So there's a lot of things that's happening, so I want to make sure that the stage is set of what happens after this. It is a Fintech conference at first to basically inspire you to know a little bit more about Fintech, because when we did the survey, it was sort of like half and half. We have half the room here sort of like, I'm tech trying to figure out the financial industry, and the other half was financial industry trying to figure out the tech. And then there was a little bit of you that says, I'm neither here, neither there. I just want to come in, look-see, and see if there's something I would like to embark on. So the whole idea what we're launching, or trying to get going after this, is a FinTech Developer Bootcamp. Think of it sort of like a very accelerator-like model itself. It's a bootcamp out of 6 weeks where we handhold you to make sure that whatever FinTech ideas you have sees the light of day, or attempts to see the light of day. So you're going to commit yourself into a program where week after week, there are different tasks that you have to perform and different tasks you have to basically get going through to basically instill an idea that you could pitch towards the end, which is the demo day itself. So I want to walk you through what happens today. In fact, it starts today itself. We're here at the FinTech conference where, if you looked at the lineup, we had 4 different parts of the event to inspire from various different perspectives itself. Slava will be, just went out to have a smoke, very Russian of him, to basically talk to you about what's happening in terms of trends and key numbers from the global and Southeast Asia landscape from FinTech, what investors are looking at. Slava is one of the biggest investors in FinTech around the world. He's just in Asia, has $100 million US put aside to invest into FinTech. So you're going to be meeting up with people like him and his team throughout the program and towards demo day itself to see if even they're interested to invest into ideas like this. And then, of course, we've got the regulation people to be here. We've got people from law firms to come and talk to you about do's and do nots when you basically embark in FinTech. If you try to engage people like that on your own, it might be expensive, so let the government foot the bill for you. And of course, we also got Ben Nagara to come on board. That was very gracious of them to come and speak on stage. They don't usually do that at conferences like this, to talk about the upcoming sandbox. It's still upcoming. A lot of people think that it's already launched. It is not fully launched, the sandbox. So to talk about what's happening there. So you are here right now, and what's going to happen at the end of today, if you already have a FinTech idea that you want to pitch into the full program and go through 6 weeks of co-development and helping you get this off the ground, then you could pitch a 1-minute video end of the day. So we're ending the program by 4 o'clock. Don't mean go back at 4 o'clock. There'll be tea breaks out there. I want you to network for at least 1.5 hours with each other in the room, and there'll be a private room set aside for you to get in there and record a 1-minute pitch if you want to. So it all starts today. But if you don't want to do it today, you could still basically take your time, go back, but there is a deadline. 23rd September is the last day you can submit all your ideas. We're going to be accepting ideas on a first-come, first-served basis, so don't be so typical and wait till 22nd midnight or 23rd midnight and call me and say, can I still pitch? We only have about 75 teams that we will take in, so roughly we'll say a team is comprised of 2 people minimum, and that's 150 people in the program itself. So you have 23rd September as your deadline to tell us what are you trying to solve, what's the problem statement, who is the customer, and basically, do you have the team to basically pull this off? So there's a couple of checkpoints there. So then we do very much American Idol style. I'm not going to say that we take 75 ideas in and all 75 ideas go to demo day. That's going to be a very long demo day, and don't think so we have time for that. So it's going to be knocked off itself. We all start with 150 people, 75 ideas through a very detailed version of what's happening here. Today you're going to get a glimpse of every single speaker, about 30 minutes, 45 minutes max. But if you get accepted in the program, we're going to do a very deep dive on FinTech. We're going to spend 2 days. One particular day will be spent with Slava's team that's flying in itself from around the world to give you a little bit more deeper insight of what's happening in the space you're dabbling on, who are your competitors, what else is basically happening in terms of case studies, the do's and don'ts. And the other day, we're going to get some legal people to sit down with you and go in depth into all the particular regulations that's going to be in your face when you're trying to fintech. So you got 2 days to crank out everything to figure out, do you even want to go forward with your particular idea? The ones who make it through then go into what we call a design sprint. This is not typically a design thinking workshop. A design sprint, it was basically coined by Google. So I was trained by Google on how to do this. We've done this for about 300 over companies in Southeast Asia already. It's an express way to get an idea validated across a week. So within 3 to 5 days, in this case, we're doing it very fast. In 3 days, we're going to put you in the midst of financial industry people. That means you're going to be sitting down with bank personnel, compliant officers. Some people were making concerns about, I'm trying to do a Sharia compliant or Islamic focused fintech idea, and there's no one even I could speak to tell me regulations on that. So these officers will be there along with venture capitalists and business mentors to come in to ask the right questions to, whether what you're trying to solve is actually a problem worth solving, and whether can this idea have legs to basically take off. So if you try to do this on your own and try to validate your ideas and knock on one by one banks' doors, it's going to be close to impossible to get that many feedback. So what we do is we bring them all in one room and you trash it out. But you're going to be trashing it out with other teams in the room itself, so it's going to be highly competitive. You'll also be sitting down with the business mentors, people from our side itself, to coach you in terms of what needs to be done to launch a tech company in this particular age itself. So if you make the cut then, we're going to slash it down a little bit more. Only 50 teams will be allowed to go into the masterclasses. The masterclasses comprises of what we was told about just now, the concept of SMAC. These days, if you try to build a standalone application, I think it does not exist anymore. Even concepts of games doesn't even have standalone anymore. You talk about a whole plethora of services that basically make an app from the social perspective, the mobility, the analytics, and the cloud. If you're trying to build a compliant-based application in this country, which particular cloud would you even use? Are any even certified? Or what would local solutions be that you could basically use? So in terms of best practices from SMAC, we basically coach you on what it takes to build an application for this particular highly regulated space itself. Now, if you basically try to say that, do you need coding experience to join? Of course. This is not going to be a course to teach you how to program from scratch. This is the wrong room that you're in then. All right? Come to iTrain, we'll charge you for courses, but that's fine. Anyway. This is there for best practices, a little bit more on real-world scenarios, and just how to put things together. It's followed by an integration lab, where we teach you how everything comes together and sort of like mentor you on the problems that you may have building it, sort of like helping you troubleshoot certain ideas. This is also where we're going to be coaching you to be ready for the demo day. So we'll teach you the art of pitching, how to basically come on stage right now, like environment like this, and talk to the investors. What would they want to hear to basically raise an investment into your company? So that then leads to the demo day itself. The demo day will be attended by local banks, telcos, investors, local and foreign. We've had a lot of requests from foreigners to come and basically look into this, because fintech is a big thing. It's not just a local thing. You do something in here, it's also a problem you're going to solve in a regional context. This is something that could go beyond Malaysia. In fact, that's what we want you to do. We want you to think big and not just think about very highly localized solutions itself. When the banks come up, we have graciously Hong Leong and RHB today sharing some of the problems they basically have. You'll notice that it might cut across the board what every bank could basically have. How they could improve certain processes, right? So this is something that you could solve and could become really big. So in a nutshell, this is basically what the FinTech Developer Bootcamp is all about. When we say developer, yes, we want some technical people to come in. But doing this program before, we know it can't just be all technical. You need a well-balanced team. You need the business case and the tech guys itself. So these are the requirements of you to join this program. Yes, you have to be a Malaysian because it's a government-funded project. We don't want solopreneurs, if you know what that means. I don't want one-man shows. We don't want one-man shows. There's no way in hell, sorry for that word, that you will ever be able to launch something if you're just an individual. And I don't think so any of the banks would trust taking an SLA from an individual. There's this thing we call the scenario of you getting hit by a truck, right? What happens then? Where's continuity then? So at least a two-member team, ideally a tech guy and a business guy, not to be gender biased, it could be women too, but basically one tech person and a female person itself. And the idea, of course, has to be fintech focused. Fintech is very broad. You're going to hear from speakers today from every angle of fintech you could think of. Some may even have it as bank technology. It could be a check clearance system, a virtual queue management system, which is not really fintech, but stuff banks would use. But we're going to listen to all those kind of ideas too that a bank might be interested in. Okay? So what happens right now is you can pitch your ideas immediately today. At 4 o'clock, when we dismiss the conference part of today, when we adjourn for the networking session, if those who are interested, there's a room at the back of the foyer where you could just line up, do a 1-minute recording of your pitch. Yes, it has to be in video. It cannot be in text. This is how we get you out of your comfort zone to know that you have what it takes to basically get out of your comfort zone and build something credible and represent what you're trying to build itself. Pitch is no longer a 1 minute. Closing date is 23rd September. If you have Q&A, I'm sure you do. You can grab us across the hall later on during the breaks, or you could shoot out emails to Masliza or Zura right now if you really have to. And that is it. Any questions? I'll try and stretch it because Slava's not back from his cigarette break. Do we have questions? Sure. Okay, we'll do that. If you pitch today and we think it's not good enough, I'll tell you on the spot, and then you get another chance. How's that for motivation to pitch today? Okay? You have that. You're back. You ready? All right, so if there's no other questions, you can grab us during the tea break. Look for me, look for Masliza, look for Zura, look for anyone with an MDEC tag. That's someone you could basically ask questions to, or drop us an email. With that, thank you very much.